The first thing Mara noticed was that nobody got on the train after midnight. Not one person. The platform was crowded when she arrived. Businessmen with loosened ties, college students with headphones, tired parents dragging luggage, a woman arguing with someone over the phone. Normal people, normal noise, normal life. But when the train doors opened, everyone stepped back. Everyone except Mara. She was too exhausted to notice at first. She had worked a double shift, missed her original ride home, and only cared about getting back before sunrise. So when the silver midnight train slid into the station, old and quiet, she stepped inside. The doors closed behind her, and the world outside disappeared. At first, the train looked ordinary. Dim yellow lights, blue fabric seats, scratched windows, a faint smell of metal and rain. There were maybe 10 other passengers scattered through the car. An old man sleeping with his chin on his chest. A teenage girl staring down at a dead phone. A woman in a red coat sitting perfectly still near the doors. Mara sat near the middle, placed her bag beside her, and leaned her head against the window. The city lights blurred outside. She closed her eyes for what felt like 5 minutes. When she opened them, the car was empty. Completely empty. Her bag was still beside her. The lights still hummed overhead. The train still moved, but every passenger was gone. Mara sat up slowly. "Hello?" No answer. She looked toward the end of the car. The door to the next compartment swayed slightly, as if someone had just passed through. She stood. The floor rocked beneath her feet. "Hello? Did we stop?" Still nothing. She checked her phone. No service. The time read 12 a.m. That was strange. It had been 12 when she got on. She walked to the window and wiped away the fog with her sleeve. Outside, there was no city, no stations, no roads, just darkness. Every few seconds, something pale flashed past the window. Trees, maybe, or poles. It was hard to tell. Mara moved to the door connecting the train cars. Through the small glass window, she could see the next car, also empty. She stepped through. The second car was colder. The seats were arranged the same, but older somehow. The fabric was faded. The advertisements above the windows were yellowed and peeling. One ad showed a smiling family under the words, "The future is waiting." Someone had scratched a message beneath it. "No, it isn't." Mara backed away. That was when the intercom crackled. Static filled the car. Then a man's voice spoke, calm and mechanical. "Next stop, Ashwick." Mara frowned. She didn't know an Ashwick station. The train began to slow. Outside the windows, lights appeared in the distance. A platform emerged from the dark. It was old, empty, wet with rain. The sign above it read, "Ashwick, closed, 1974. The doors opened. Cold air rushed inside. Mara stepped closer, but didn't get off. The platform was silent. No announcements, no footsteps, no people. Then she saw a man standing at the far end. He faced away from her. Long coat, wet hair, hands at his sides. Mara's throat tightened. "Excuse me?" she called. The man didn't move. The train doors chimed. Mara stepped back quickly. The doors closed. As the train pulled away, the man on the platform slowly turned. His face was blurred. Not hidden, blurred, like her eyes refused to focus on it. Then he raised one hand and waved. The train entered darkness again. Mara ran to the intercom button near the door. She pressed it. "Hello? I need help. Something is wrong with this train." Static. Then the same calm voice answered. "Please remain seated. Do not move between cars after the lights flicker." Mara froze. What? The intercom clicked off. A second later, the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then the entire car went black. Mara held her breath. In the darkness, she heard footsteps. Not from behind her, not from the next car, from above. Slow, careful steps moving across the roof of the train. One step, then another, directly over her head. Mara covered her mouth. The train lights snapped back on. The footsteps stopped. At the far end of the car, the connecting door was now open, and someone stood in the doorway. It was the old man from the first car, the one who had been asleep. His chin still rested against his chest. His eyes were closed, but he was standing. Mara whispered, "Sir?" His head lifted. His eyes opened. They were completely white. Then he smiled. Not wide, not monstrous, just slightly wrong. Like someone wearing a smile they had only seen in pictures. Mara turned and ran. She pushed through the next door, then the next, then the next. Each car was different. One looked brand new, one looked burned. One had seats covered in dust. One was full of luggage with no owners. One had children's drawings taped to the walls. Every drawing showed the same thing: a train, a black tunnel, and a tall figure standing in the last car. Finally, they reached a dining car. Tables were set with untouched meals. Coffee cups still steamed. A newspaper lay open on one table. Mara picked it up. The date read, October 18th, 1996. The headline said, "Midnight train disappears with 43 passengers." Mara's hands went cold. Beside the article was a photograph of the train. Same silver exterior, same blue stripe, same number. Eli whispered, "That's this train." Mara read quickly. The train had vanished between two stations. No wreckage, no emergency signal, no survivors. 43 passengers missing. The last reported communication from the conductor was one sentence: "There is someone standing on the tracks." The newspaper slipped from Mara's hands. Behind them, silverware rattled. A woman sat at one of the tables. Mara hadn't seen her before. She wore a red coat, the same woman from the first car. She stirred a cup of coffee without looking up. "You found the paper," she said. Mara stepped back. "Who are you?" The woman smiled faintly. "Someone who got tired of running." Eli whispered, "Don't talk to her." The woman looked at him. "You're still here, Eli. Poor thing." Mara turned to him. "You know her?" "She's not a passenger anymore." The woman laughed softly. "No, not exactly." She looked at Mara. "The train doesn't kill everyone. Some of us get promoted." Mara's stomach twisted. "To what?" The woman tapped her spoon against the cup. The sound echoed too loudly. "To helpers." The train lurched. The lights flickered. The woman in red leaned forward. "You want to leave?" Mara didn't answer. The woman smiled. "Then reach the last car before the conductor takes your final ticket." Eli shook his head rapidly. "She's lying." The woman ignored him. "In the last car, there's a door. Not a train door, a real one. It opens once for every passenger." "How do I open it?" The woman's smile faded. "You give the train something it doesn't already have." "What?" "The truth." The lights went out. When they came back on, the woman was gone. In her place, the coffee cup was filled with black ticket stubs. Each one had Mara's name printed on it. Mara grabbed Eli's hand. "We're going to the last car." No, I told you. Every direction leads there eventually, but you don't want to arrive." "We don't have a choice." They moved backward through the train. The cars became stranger. One was full of mirrors, but the reflections moved half a second too late. One was filled with sleeping passengers who whispered Mara's secrets in their dreams. One was completely empty, except for a phone ringing in the center aisle. Mara almost answered it. Then she heard her own voice coming from the receiver. "Don't trust Eli." She backed away. Eli stared at a phone, terrified. What did it say? Mara lied. Nothing. But after that, she watched him differently. He was always behind her, always nervous, always insisting they stop. Finally, they reached a car that looked exactly like Mara's childhood bedroom. Pink walls, glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling, the old stuffed rabbit on the bed. Mara froze. "No," Eli whispered. "What is this?" Mara stepped inside slowly. A little girl sat on the bed, 8 years old. Curly hair, tear-streaked face. Mara recognized herself immediately. The little girl looked up. "You left me there," she whispered. Mara shook her head. "This isn't real." "You heard Mom fall," the girl said. "You heard her calling, and you hid." Mara's eyes filled with tears. "I was a child. You hid under the bed. I was scared. And she died alone." The room tilted. The train noise became a heartbeat. Mara backed away, but the door behind her was gone. The little girl stood. "You want the truth?" she whispered. "Here it is." The walls peeled away. Mara was 8 again, hiding under her bed. Her mother crying in the hallway after collapsing. Young Mara too afraid to move. Too afraid to call for help. Too afraid to watch her mother die. Adult Mara fell to her knees. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. The little girl walked closer. "You never got on this train because you were tired." Mara looked up. "What? You got on because you wanted to disappear." The words hit harder than fear. Mara remembered the platform. The exhaustion, the rain, the thoughts she had refused to name. Maybe if I just keep riding, I won't have to go home. Maybe no one will need me. Maybe I can stop being myself for a while. The bedroom vanished. The train returned. Eli stood in the aisle, watching her. His expression was unreadable. "What did you see?" he asked. Mara wiped her face. "The truth." From somewhere behind them came the conductor's voice. "Ticket, please." Eli grabbed her arm. "Run." They ran. The conductor followed without hurry. Every few seconds the lights flickered, and each time he was closer. Car after car, door after door. Until finally there were no more doors behind them. They had reached the last car. It was small, old, lit by a single swinging bulb. The walls were covered in names. Thousands of names scratched into metal. At the far end stood a black door, not part of the train, a normal wooden door with a brass knob. Mara ran to it. Locked. She screamed and pulled harder. Behind them, the conductor entered the car. Eli backed away, trembling. "Mara," he said. She turned. Eli's sleeve had fallen back. His arm was covered in ticket marks. Not one row, dozens, hundreds. Mara stared at him. "How long have you been here?" Eli started crying. "I'm sorry." The conductor stopped behind him. Eli whispered, "I couldn't leave unless I brought someone else to the last car." Mara stepped back. "You were helping it." "I didn't want to. I was scared." The conductor raised one pale hand. Eli sobbed. "I'm sorry, Mara." The black door clicked. Mara turned. The brass knob slowly rotated. The train had heard the truth. The door opened into darkness. Not tunnel darkness. Real darkness. Cold night air rushed in. Beyond the door, Mara saw a platform. Her station. The one she was supposed to get off at. Home. The conductor moved toward her. Eli screamed, "Go." Mara looked at him one last time. Then she stepped through the door. She fell hard onto wet concrete. Rain hit her face. The train roared behind her. Mara spun around. The silver midnight train stood with its doors closed. Inside the last window, Eli watched her. Beside him stood the conductor. No face, no eyes, no mouth. But somehow, Mara knew it was smiling. The train pulled away. Within seconds, it vanished into the tunnel. Mara was alone on the platform. Her phone buzzed. Service returned. The time read 12:01 a.m. Only 1 minute had passed. For a while, Mara didn't move. Then an announcement played overhead. "Attention passengers, the midnight train is delayed." Mara looked up slowly. A cold breeze moved through the station. Across the platform stood a woman in a red coat, watching her. Mara's breath caught. The woman smiled faintly and lifted one finger to her lips. "Shh." Then she pointed behind Mara. Mara turned. On the wall beside the platform map, someone had scratched a fresh message into the tile. "You left something on board." Mara looked down at her wrist. There was one black ticket mark on her skin. Just one. The first punch. And from somewhere deep inside the tunnel, she heard the train whistle again,